everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, Epic Games, the company behind the Unreal Engine and Fortnite and a bunch of other things that are making them a ton of money, have laid off 900 people, totaling 16% of their workforce. The job cuts were announced in a memo to staff from Epic CEO Tim Sweeney, in which he states that some of the layoffs will take place at its Bandcamp and Super Awesome Arms. For a while now, we've been spending way more money than we earn, investing in the next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a metaverse-inspired ecosystem for creators. Sweeney's memo reads, "I had long been optimistic that we could power through this transition without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see that this was unrealistic." Sweeney then went on to cover that Fortnite wasn't really growing at a rate that would change Epic's financial stability. Even though the company made ongoing efforts to reduce costs, including moving to net zero hiring and cutting operations spend on things like marketing and events, they concluded that layoffs was the only way, and that doing them now and on this scale would secure the financial side of the company. And I'm sure at this point you may have noticed that Sweeney's memo included no apology or condolences to those who were laid off. I mean, yeah, doubling down on the metaverse and spending I can't even imagine how much money on that party that, quote, brought Coachella to E3 may not have been the best long-term financial choices for Epic. But the growing sentiment around this story is, how does this keep happening? Nicole Carpenter, senior reporter at Polygon, shared, "For an industry that's valued in the hundreds of billions, it's truly nuts that thousands of people, probably more than 5,000, were laid off this year." And Brian Shea, online content director at Game Informer, wrote, "The games industry takes so much damn money and yet is somehow still so mismanaged. Layoffs happen at an unimaginable frequency. My thoughts are with everyone affected by the news out of Creative Assembly and Epic Games, as well as those still struggling through a job hunt." And yeah, I think they're right. It feels like mismanagement. It feels like overspending on ludicrous things and then ending up like Epic or Embracer, which I'm still upset about. They just keep buying things and then firing. And I wish I could end this on a positive note, an upbeat note. Like, well, things will change in the future, but it seems like there's a trend. And a lot of it, again, goes back to there's some dudes in suits in a boardroom who are trying to make money for investors, and nothing else really matters. Not the games, not the employees, nothing. And it just seems like it's getting worse, and it's more offensive. And maybe it's just because we're reporting it more, right? Maybe because we see more of it that it seems like it's happening more often, but maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? Let me know. I genuinely am upset by this because there's no reason with the amount of money in the gaming space that companies are like, we just got to keep firing people. We're losing so much money. Really? And speaking of the games industry, while we're here, yesterday, some big news. Sony Interactive Entertainment president and Gordon Ramsay lookalike Jim Ryan is stepping down. In his own statement, Ryan shared, "After 30 years, I've made the decision to retire from SIE in March 2024, he said. "I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love in a very special company, working with great people and incredible partners. But I've found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America." Which, I get 30 years is a long time to work for any company. Dude joined Sony back in 1994. He then went on to serve as the president of the European branch in 2011 until 2019, when he became the president and oversaw the launch of the PS5 and the creation of Project Q and more. But now the question remains, who will lead Sony? To support Mr. Ryan in his transition, Sony Group Corporation President, COO, and CFO Hiroki Tataki will assume the role of chairman of SIE effective October 2023. Effective April 1, 2024, hilarious date, Mr. Tataki will be appointed interim CEO of SIE while he continues his current role at Sony Group Corporation, Sony's official statement shared. Overall, Jim Ryan has certainly been an interesting president for Sony over the last 4 years. It's been very interesting to watch him do all the things he's doing, from talking about his 2 cats' birthdays in a staff email about abortion rights to pushing games as a service, Project Q, like I said, so much more. I clearly have many mixed feelings about his departure, but also the man looks like Gordon Ramsay, and it's always been funny to me, and I can't stop thinking about it, and I will never not stop thinking about it. So, to Sony's Gordon Ramsay, I bid you a fond adieu. Anyway, that is it for me. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow with some more 5-Minute Gaming News.